Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming and YouTube streaming and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from wherever you are connecting. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Sutra 29 continues. Situations are always new, but solutions are old. Many years ago, at Harvard, I had a series of talks where I had mentioned meditation, the missing link in education. We spend nearly 25 to 27 years of our precious life in university campuses learning this, that discipline or that. And when we come out, we are given honors, we have degrees, and it is said now you are ready to enter the outside world. Have you ever observed, after spending 25 to 27 years of your precious youth, do you have answers to simple questions that life asks on a day-to-day basis? Are you taught in the university how to deal with the situations at home, work? No, it is not. This simply means there is something, a gap, a missing link. Life is bringing about new situations every moment as you traverse through life's roads. But mind always tries to react with old conditionings, old solutions. The gap goes on widening. The more gap will be there, the more will be the anxiety. Mind is orthodox, but life is not. These are the reasons why mind itself is the disease. And when you have confirmed that mind is the disease, then what can we do? If you are going to treat the mind, there are easy ways. Psychoanalysis is easy. It may take a long time, but it never succeeds. But still it is not difficult. But the transcendence of the mind is difficult, arduous, because you have to leave the mind completely. Mind means conditionings, ideas, or whatsoever is there. You have to take wings and go beyond the mind, leave the mind as it is, and do not touch it at all. I had given the example, you are in a room, the room is hot. On a day-to-day basis, when you are working in the office or you are making the office as your studio, it is hot and it lacks ventilation. You can do two things. You can install an air conditioner and maybe a ventilation. That is one solution. And then you can continue to live in the room. You can make the arrangement to make the room more comfortable. But when every arrangement has to be looked after, and then every arrangement creates its own anxiety and problems. There is another possibility. You can leave the room and go out. This is the difference. The Western psychology, goes on living in the same room, that is mind, trying to adjust, to make arrangements. This example of the room was simply the easiest example. There is nothing like mind is hot or cold. But the room has to be. If the room is small, it cannot accommodate all the people, then you can, if there are one or two people, they can sit down comfortably. If the number of people is large, you have to have the congregation or sitting outside in a bigger space. West goes on trying to live in the same room, that is mind, and goes on adjusting it on a timely basis, so that the living in the mind becomes at least normal. It may not be very blissful, but it becomes less and less unhappy and relatively comfortable. It may not reach a point, a peak of happiness, but one is saved from much suffering, which is less and less. Freud has said there is no possibility for man to be happy. At the most, if you arrange your mind in such a way that you can become normal once again. You will be less unhappy than others, that is all. This is very hopeless. But Freud is very genuine, authentic thinker. His insight is right in a way because he cannot see anything beyond the mind. He cannot envision that there can be any possibility beyond the mind. That is why the East has not developed psychology comparable to Sigmund Freud, Jung, and Adler. And that is strange because the East has been talking about the mind for at least 5,000 years. With 5,000 years of talking about the mind, meditation goes beyond. Why could not East create psychology? Psychology is a very recent development in the West. Why can't the East create the psychology? Buddha was here, who talked about the deepest layers of the mind. He talked about the subconscious, unconscious, conscious. He talked about the subconscious, he talked about the unconscious. He must have known the layers. But why he could not develop psychologies about the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious minds? The reason is that East is not interested in the room. It talks about the room a little in order to go beyond. That this is the room is becoming smaller and uncomfortable. You have to go to a bigger room, a bigger space. If a room is a space that is small and uncomfortable, you have to go to a bigger space. You have to Go beyond the room means you have to go out. We have been interested in the room just to find the door, so that you can find the door to come out of the room. You cannot come out of the door, come out of the room through the wall. That is all. East has been interested in details about the room. We are not going to live in it. So the only interest has been knowing where the door is, so that you can come out of that door. We have talked about the room only so that the door can be located, and because there is darkness, so you need to locate the door to come out of that. This has been the whole interest. That is why psychology could not be developed in the East, specifically in India, during the time of Buddha, Mahavir and Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the father of the modern psychology, if I can say that way, because he understood the conflict that arises in the mind of an ordinary person, which is Arjun's conflict. And this conflict is not only his, but he becomes the representative of the entire humanity. Every individual is caught between what he's supposed to do and what he's not supposed to do. Wrong identifications. We identify with wrong things which are ephemeral, which will vanish after some time, but our focus is on those things. We do not focus on the roots. A tree, if it is nourished by the roots, it becomes healthy, nourished and nurtures. Leaves and flowers appear on the tree like season, and then during autumn they fall and make room for others. Such is the nature of relationships and all that we are trying to preserve in our lives and consider as significant. That is the reason for the next publication, The Psychology of the Awakened. The title, the cover page is designed in such a way that there is a tree, the leaves are falling, leaves will fall, and falling leaves are your relationships and all that you have considered as significant in your life. You are not interested in the room. You will not map up the room. You will not measure every wall and every inch of the space. You are not bothered about any of these things. You are only interested in where is the door. When there is fire in the house, you are not looking to make the room comfortable. You are not making the room to do this and that. You are simply looking for an exit to come out of this place where there is turmoil, where there is disturbance. So mind is the disturbance, there is a fire, and only way to escape that is to come out of the room. And the moment you are out, you will forget the room completely, because then you are under the vast infinite sky or a bigger space. Your horizon is wider. Your area of thinking is widened. The sky was beyond. And you could have moved out any moment. You will forget the room completely If you go beyond the mind means conditioning. Do not take it literally. Going beyond the mind means going beyond the conditionings, going beyond your identities. Your identity is, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a Muslim, I am a Hindu, I am a Christian, I am a Jew, I am American, I am Indian. These are all narrow individualities. According to Sanatan culture, the eternal path and teachings out of which the Hindu way of life came into existence. It has different rituals to be performed in the life of an individual. These are known as 16. One of them is the beginning of the education system. So our ritual is performed, a particular way of prayer, and in the company of performed by the priest, by the family master or guru, and he asks little children. Now they are going to enter into as a recluse, as a renunciate, to enter into the place of the master, which is known as Guru Kul. Guru means master, Kul means family. The family of the master, where master is living in a forest or somewhere, where his wife and maybe children and a large family of the students who have gathered around him to learn. So they perform the basic things irrespective of whether you come from a kingly family or an ordinary family. Everything is common. This is what the aspect of communism that I like. That's a community. There is no difference. The king's son and the poor man's son has to collect the wood, chop the wood, collect the wood from the forest. In the morning, pick the flowers for the worship of the priest, of the master. Do these things, sleep on the bare ground. Whatever food is given to you, you have to eat. That kind of a disciplined life. So that time the master asks, whose sannyasi are you? Means, what is your identity? So the innocent child, 7 years of age, says, I am your sannyasi. He said, no. First of all, your identity is cosmic. Not a Hindu identity, nor a Muslim identity connected with Allah or Ram or Krishna or anything. I am ever expanding consciousness, Aham Brahmasmi. So I am my identity is with the Creator, the cosmic identity. I'm talking about cosmic. I am cosmic. I belong not to caste, creed, religion. I belong to the entire cosmos. The entire earth is my family. Vasudha Kutumbakam. Vasudha means the planet Earth. Kutumb means family. The entire earth is my family. That is what a master follows. It does not matter what is your religious belief, what is your identity. You are here simply as Maybe in the beginning you come as an inquisitive person to inquire something. You find that this person is speaking and he speaks good. So out of curiosity you come. There are a number of persons who keep on posting their comments. Some they like, some they do not like. There are simply inquisitive persons. Not even inquisitive, they are curious ones. Curiosity is the beginning, then it becomes inquisitiveness, and then it goes change the layers. Then you become a disciple when you're ready to learn, and then comes the state of devotion when you are. That is what devotion frees. It's the last stage. When you have crossed the stage of a student, disciple, devotion, then you become a devotee. You are totally devoted to this way of learning, this way of transformation, this way of growth. So he says, your identity is cosmic. The entire world is one family. That is the whole understanding of India. That so when there was COVID, India did not care for its own citizens, but also other citizens also. So the purpose of the master is he has certain responsibility towards his family, but he has a greater family. To some extent, your spiritual transformation and growth is my responsibility now to provide you the kind of understanding that is needed for you to evolve out of narrowness and look at everyone as one family. That is the reason psychology could not be developed in India. If you are not interested in room, there is no need to make the map. As I said, if there is a fire in the house, you are not looking into the map, you are not looking into anything. All you need to find the exit to come out of there, of that door, as early as possible. So your mind, the room, the prison is at fire. You have to come out of this. You will not even remember that there was a room and you lived there once. While all the time the infinite sky was beyond, and now you have come, you have made. You do not make any change in the mind, but you go beyond and everything changes. The moment you come out of that room where there was a fire, everything changes. Then you can come back to the room again if you need. First of all, put it this way. You come to a master with your narrow individuality, narrow identity that I am a Muslim, I am a Hindu, I am a man, I am American. You come. Then your horizon begins to broaden. You start looking at yourself in a different angle. You remain basically a man, but you realize that you are a half man, half woman. You are a combination of Om and sperm, yin and yang. Shiva and Shakti. So that is your real identity. But physically you are a man or a woman. When you was born, you was not born as a Hindu, Muslim or Christian or American or Indian. That because you was born in a particular place or a country that determines your citizenship, that is required for certain reasons. So your thinking changes. You can remain a Muslim, you can remain a Hindu, but a better one. Not with the narrow identities, but broader identities. You can eat the same food that you have been eating, but you have respect for all the other dishes that are available in the market. You may like a particular kind of a cuisine, that is no problem. You can continue eating, but that does not mean you condemn the other cuisines. They also satiate someone. The Muslim teachings satiate someone. Hindu teachings satiate someone. Christian teachings satiate someone. It is a different matter what kind of ingredients are used by the chefs in order to continue their business, what kind of oils, what kind of the flavor enhancers are used in cuisine. That's a different matter. So for that matter, you can inquire about it when you look at buy a particular food ingredient. You look at the contents of it, whether it has artificial flavors in it or not, whether it has trans fat or not. That's a different thing. The fries that are prepared in the market, they use trans fat. You can use the same thing using the other oils, avocado oil or coconut oil, if you intend eating. So everything enhances, and you are no more identified with those narrow identities, so you come back in the room to live with a bigger identity. This is going out and coming in will have made you qualitatively different. A man who has been living in a room, who has not known what it likes to be living under the sky, is not really a man. You have been living in your narrow individualities of your cultural background, and so you are living like an insect. When you move out in the sky, the open sky, to the sun, to the moon, to the clouds, to the stars, there is an infinite expanse. You become different qualitatively, immediately. The impact of the infinite makes you, for the first time, a man, a consciousness. Your horizon of looking at the things changes. Now you can move into the room again, but you will be a different man. Now the room can only be something which is used. It is not now a person, not now a prison for you. You can move out any moment. You can come out of your normal cuisine and follow or partake the other cuisine. Then the room becomes just something to be used, something utilitarian. Previously, you were imprisoned in it. Now you are not imprisoned in it. You are now the master, and you know the sky is outside, is a vast expanse. And there is, the infinite is awaiting for you any moment. And even this room will become a part of that infinite expanse now. Even this small, limited space carries within a limited space within the room. The small space within the room is because of utilitarian purposes. The walls narrow down the space. East is concerned with how to go beyond the mind and then use it. Do not be identified with the mind. That is the message of the East. And the technique of meditation are concerned only about how to find the door. And once you have found the door, you can unlock yourself, you can come out, and then you can go beyond that. The first is the concern about stopping in the middle of an activity. They are part of the stop techniques. So devotion frees. So only this much for this morning. And with this, although it is not complete, this forms the part of the stop techniques to realize what type of person you are. You are an intellectual type or a feeling type. Accordingly, you choose the method. So only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day. And next week, we'll take another sutra which has not as yet spoken. This is a request to speak on 111 Sutra. So I'll begin on this next week. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.